So I say the closest lie or trick that ever worked was basically the whole lie that Rodney had actually come before me and that I had learned everything I knew and was a chip off the old block from Rodney because they had carefully done this like just slight of truth or whatever, and trying to pretend like Rodney was the one, and basically all he was doing was just telling me about things I had already done, or blah blah blah. Wouldn't that be a great idea, Brian? Blah 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 blah, and just trying to do the slight of truth or whatever, to try and pretend like I was a chip off the old block and blah blah. And that's the closest thing, and that led to basically people saying, okay, we're gonna find out. We're gonna set you two apart, and we're gonna have him invent and you invent, and we'll see who the real inventor is. So, and I sat apart and I invented and blah 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 blah, and thought of all these different things, all these different rules and everything else like that, and like I say, and then they checked on what Rodney and Rick Bush or whatever were doing, and they're like, well, actually, they're planning ways that they could get to you or scam you or whatever. They weren't even trying to invent. So, because because you had already invented everything and they knew it. So, or something like that. I don't know. They told me the truth about what Rodney and Rick Bush were doing, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like I said, I had already invented everything, so I was just reinventing it. So they're like, yeah, you're definitely the creator and inventor. So I was like, oh yeah, I knew it. Anyway, this was when I was a child before I was 7. So then at 7, and I named the country, and the rest is history. And then that led, I guess, into basically Jimmy Carter, Richard Nixon, or JFK or something. I don't know. It's all this stupidity. Anyway, like I said, I can tell you how Rick Bush originally started somewhere else and went like migrating towards me and trying to kill off blah blah blah. All these stupid tricks or whatever. I was alerted and knew about it and blah 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 and dealt with it and was like, yeah, well, this is what he did. This is what they were doing. They're just trying to kill off all the people that had known blah blah because everyone had known. So then Rick Bush and Rodney just tried to make sure that they killed off blah 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 blah. And that's where you get into Joe's Witnesses and Stomp. And basically, I could tell you all the different time space relevant points and facts and blah 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 if you wanted to know them. Like it's like, well, I could tell you how Rick Bush and Rodney and everyone else and that's all stuff that shouldn't be known about. Was totally secret, word of mouth. Like depending on which way you want to look at it, how you want to look at it, I can tell you. Most people would call me a genius. It's like, no, I just lived through it. I was just told about it. Because I'm the creator of humanity and 12 other life form types. So when you're that, you know these things. And then just dealing with Rodney and Rick Bush's stupidity. Whatever. So, anyway. Doesn't really matter. Like I said, all my cruise ships went off without a hitch. People were like, well, how did you get Lucifer White Starlights? How did you... It's like, well... we were bending wood back in the old days, and I had all these wooden sailing ships and stuff like that. And so I always had smaller wooden sailing ships, like 150 feet long to 300 foot long or 120 foot long. And people were like, well, wooden sailing ships can't be 300 feet long. That's impossible. There's never been any 300 foot long wooden sailing ships. It's like, bullshit. And they're on record, and supposedly that's what Christopher Columbus, who sailed the ocean blue, blah, 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 blah. Like, how do you even know those records are facts? Anyway, just trying to fuck with me or fuck with everyone. It's like hundreds of years ago, on a table, they had all my ships laid out on elephant, what's it called? I just had to see the picture and be like, oh, yeah, that was me. That was my thing. You can't, like, Rodney, shut up. Rick, shut up. Like, it's just like all these idiots. Like I said, they don't even know what they're going after. They don't even know who I truly am. They didn't even know who I truly was, It's like the creator of 12 races and blah, blah, blah. And then later on, Rodney was like, what are you going to do? Kill people for jaywalking? It's like... all this stuff, like, he's like, oh, look, see, he was going to blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever. And I say all these stupid, like, oh, and later on, they're like, oh, they're controlling your mind, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no. And later on, like I said, that led to basically, serial killers, whatever, were getting like blah blah blah. You created me, blah blah. It's like no, you created blah blah blah. Whatever. Anyway, a lot of weird people. Some weird people. Anyway, I don't know. Mostly, I think people were just getting frustrated with the truth of the world, and like I said, it was starting to drive people crazy because it's like, Rodney and Rick Bush and all these other people and and um, and then like Jimmy Carter and Richard Nixon and all these people, like, and Richard Nixon wanted to blow up the world, JFK wanted to blow up the world, and said it several times. Like lots of Secret Service said, well, yeah, actually that actually started. That wasn't even. And another Secret Service would tell you that actually it was JFK that actually said that he wanted to blow up the world or whatever, or would joke about it all the time. And then later on, more modern day people say, well, Nixon was actually joking about it and said, hey, let's push the button, to one of the guys that was showing him at one of the aircraft. So multiple people basically confirmed that Nixon was JFK. Or that JFK. So, anyway, like I said, from all the different, it's just so much evidence. It's just so many facts, so many statements, so many this, and all on film and all on record. And there's all the other stuff. Like I said, we were having a documented history of the Earth. Both in close in and also from orbit. And by multiple different life form types. Like I said, my exoskeletons were doing it and blah, blah, blah. I had other life form types doing it that weren't even human. So, and then along comes Rodney and everyone else. So, like I say, when they tried to storm the palace, in Britain and all that other stuff, and saying, well, they're not going to shoot us, So it's like, oh yeah, they are. They're paid to protect the queens and the family. They'll shoot you. Like Rodney and his stupid idiots and his yellers and all this other stuff. They were just, like most people would say, actually the crazy people are the ones on the outside of the cells. Those are the people that are crazy. Well, mostly because Rodney and everyone else. Like I said, it was actually driving humanity insane because humanity knew this truth. Like, you don't even need it. You need proof of it. It's just so evident. It's all around you if you... Yeah, whatever. Like I said, I don't really care. It's basically just Rodney and Rick Bush and a bunch of other idiots. So, well... Anyway, like I said, I don't really care. I'm 90 trillion years old. A bunch of people want to be idiots and try and... To the future! It's like, well, I am the future, I am the past. What else? All the stars. Just on vacation. So, yeah, that's why I say, to people who are annoying me or gonna fuck with me, it's like, I know you're paid to do it, but whatever. Or being encouraged to do it, but it's like, and half the people that were paid to kill me or paid to harass me basically just kept the money and didn't do anything about it. Because like I said, Nixon's dead. Jimmy Carter's dead. They were just hoping blah, 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 blah. Or blah, blah. And realistically, they're just trying to blow up the world anyway. Like I said, lots of FBI and lots of CIA people said, well, they were trying to have us do terrorist actions. And I mean JFK and probably Trumpy and everybody else. Like I said, Trumpy doesn't belong in the White House. Or in Washington, D.C. at all. So, of course he's going to be a terrorist. Of course he's going to be paying people to do bad things. And meanwhile, America's trying to call the Irish people the bad people and call the Middle East the bad people. They're basically just doing the same thing the black people were doing. The Germans were oppressing us. The French were oppressing us. The Americans are oppressing us. So, like I said, America being the wrong one, or the U.S. people being the wrong one, the Germans were against us, the Chinese were against us, the Russians were against us. It's like, I don't think there's a problem. And what they're really doing is trying to tell the rest of the world that if they don't play ball or whatever, or to do whatever, then they're going to kill me or nuke me. And it's like, they don't really have that power. You know, like I said, I'm the creator of 12 life form types. And I named America. So America can't exactly kill me or execute me. Because I'm their namer and I'm their creator. And many people in America knew I was, or I knew who I was, so they made sure I was. So they made sure that they got the country name from me. Brian. So like I say, you can paradox yourself out of that one. You know, like I said, Bonnie and Clyde, or Bunny and Clive. It was Bunny and Clive, I think. She might have been a bunny. Like I said, I was paying for the bunny girls. I used to pay for the bunny girls and stuff like that. Used to have them, I thought it was cute to have girls dressed up like bunnies hopping around. I was young, what can I say? So I funded them and all kinds of stuff. And so Bunny and Clive, you know, they got to know me. So, and talked to me once. So, quietly without anyone knowing. So anyway, you know, all these people I helped. So they helped me. So I was like, you know, Rodney and everyone else is against the world, against everyone. You know, I helped out a lot of people throughout my years. So lots of people saved. Every soldier saved by a bulletproof vest. What? Well, I mean, generally when you think of clans and all that other stuff, I was protector of my whatever. So anyway, so that's why, you'll find black people doing bad things and blah 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 because of Papa. A plague unto this world. So and the Japanese and Chinese knew about Papa and all of them. So realistically, like I say, it's just the blacks and the whites and just certain whites, not even the whole white people. And it was just because some black people heard my name was Lucifer White Star. So they figured I wasn't going to be, or I don't know. Or maybe it was because like Papa came up against me and threatened me and blah blah. You know what I'm going to do? You know what I did? You know what I'm going to do to all you girls? Blah blah blah. And you know, and then I was like, that's it. He's kicked out. He's like, you got blah blah blah. You can't blah blah blah. And it's like, I'm Lucifer White Star, or Lucifer Starline. So, yeah. When I say something's going to happen, it generally does, or did. So. And like I said, some Irish people would eventually, and some of the other Irish would be like, shh, don't do that, don't say that. He's blah, 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 blah. And I was like, it's okay, it's fine. It's different when it's Irish. Like I said, an Irish person, believe it or not, can cuss me up one side and cuss me down the other side. They've done enough work for me, but they've earned that right. And other people will be like, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you haven't earned that right yet. Just like the Chinese and just like the Middle Easterns, you know. They can cuss me out too. It's okay. You know, they're different. You know, they actually earned their right. So. And that's why some people, I just tell them to shut the fuck up. You know, you don't know what's going on, you didn't know what's going on, and you don't understand. Like, start going around, start looking at some of the records, and you'll start to notice. Look up a colony ship named the LSF. Ask another planet about the LSF. So. Anyway, it didn't come and bug me. Or do some research into the White Star Line Company. Like I said, people contacted me a long time ago saying the Titanic plans or the blah, blah, blah plans are lost and gone. It's like, no, they're not. They saved them for me. No, it's like, I'm Lucifer White Star Line. Lucifer Star Line. And I know my people. And sure enough, in the office somewhere, they found them. It's like, I know they're around. They saved the models, too. There used to be these huge these huge warehouses with all my models and everything else with them in there. Anyway, Nixon or JFK burned them all, or something like that. Tried to burn all the photographs.